What's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be going over the picks for February 3rd, 2021. First up, let's talk about Bryant. Mount St. Mary's at Bryant. Now, Bryant is pretty good until they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson twice. And Mount St. Mary's is not good. So I'm going to take Bryant for a comeback here. -6. Or 5.5, depending on where you get it. And I'm also going to take the over because Bryant's scores recently have been insane. So I think this one is safe to go over 141. Next up, we're going to go over Arizona. Arizona at Utah. I like Arizona a lot. Don't get me wrong, Utah's pretty good. But Utah does not scare me against Arizona. And Arizona is only giving up 1.5, so I would take Arizona 1.5 here. Okay, after that, Ohio State at Iowa. Now, Iowa has not been playing well recently. They lost to Indiana, Illinois. They couldn't cover the spread against Michigan State. Like, come on, man. And Ohio State has been just playing really well. So I like Ohio State. Ohio State is getting 5.5 here. It just, to me, it just seems easy to take Ohio State here. Next up, speaking of Fairleigh Dickinson, I want to talk about Fairleigh Dickinson at LIU. And I want to so Fairleigh Dickinson is getting 7.5 here. On paper, they're not that good. But I just saw them in a back-to-back beat Bryant, which is really good. So they're getting 7.5. That's too much. I'm going to take Fairleigh Dickinson here. Seems like a really good value. Next up, let's talk about Gonzaga. Gonzaga at Pacific. Now, these guys have actually played recently, and Gonzaga just beat the heck right out of them. So I'm going to take Gonzaga -23.5. And I'm also going to take the over, even though they did not go over before, but they can score a little bit. So I do like the over here. But I like Gonzaga spread even more. But just realize that's a big spread and that's a big over. But I just feel like Gonzaga's in a groove. Really like Weber State, but that's giving up too much points. I like Colorado State, but again, they're giving up too much points. Vegas is getting smarter here. One thing they might not be as smart on is this Eastern Washington at Idaho game. Here I am going to take Eastern Washington -15. I like the way they played against Sacramento State, and I do not like the way that that Idaho plays at all. So I think 15 points is not that bad. And I mean, Eastern Washington's record isn't as good as like how they play. So I think you're getting a little bit of a value there. I mean, not really. It's a big spread, but against Idaho, I think that's safe. Next up, let's go over Minnesota at Rutgers. Rutgers has been completely dominating recently. So I like them against Minnesota. They're only giving up 5.5. Minnesota's dropping a couple games here. So I think Rutgers is ready for this. And they're only giving up 5.5 at home. So I'm going to take Rutgers. The next game we're going to be covering is Utah State at Fresno State. Fresno State is not good. These 2 wins are against New Mexico. It doesn't count. Utah State is one of the best teams in the country. They have a giant at center. So they better not let me down. I'm going to take Utah State -11.5 here. And the last game we're going to talk about is Washington State at Oregon. And Washington State's been playing really well. They beat Washington, who we had the other day. We had Washington, and they just completely dominated that game. They played Colorado. I know it says they lost to Colorado 2 times, but they played them pretty well. I mean, the first half of this game, they won that, and then this one they covered the spread, and then they beat Washington pretty good. They beat them up. So I like Washington State here. You're 12 points. 12 points is a lot. So I like Washington State getting the 12 points there. So those are my picks for February 3rd, 2021. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and thanks for watching.